All right. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Wherever you are in the world today, you guys are welcome here at the Paper Cat Books Facebook page. And today we have a special virtual event because we just can't wait to share with you guys the journey that we have taken in the past few months that took years in the making. Hello, everyone. I'm Cor Carlos, and I'm your host and tour guide for today's book launch adventure. We're excited because this is our first journal product in Paper Cat Books and HS Graphic Print. This is The Great Adventure, your first 5 years journal by Agukaka Journals. So, for today's adventure, we're taking everyone through the journey of the first 5 years of raising a child. Because it really takes a village to raise one, right? And in this keepsake journal, not only does it document your child's milestones from age 0 to 5, but it is also the perfect gift for parents, grandparents, titos, titas, ninangs, ayan, to reminisce, keep the memories and stories alive, o 'di ba? So if you guys have friends who are first-time parents, or if you are a ninang, ayan, ninang or titas to young ones right there. So ito, this virtual book launch is for you. And here to tell us more about the journal and the heartwarming story about its creation is the author and founder of Agukaka Journals. So let me introduce her to you. A half-charged Energizer bunny powered by chocolates and adrenaline, Anna Tan juggles many hats, from being a wife, a first-time mom, an 8 to Sawa working professional, and now a new hat of being a self-published author of The Great Adventure, your first 5 years journal. And in her free time, and when the baby is asleep, she picks up her journal and writes. So without further ado, please welcome our author today, Katrina Kotan. Hi, Kat.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Cor.
How are you feeling today, Energizer Bunny?
Half charge. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
We are happy and excited because, again, this is our journal here in Paper Cat Books. So we're excited to know more about this with you. So first things first, Ayan. So tell us about what you do. How is Katrina as a working mom?
I'm a working professional. I am working in a bank, and I am actually also in the marketing industry. But at the same time, as you mentioned, I am also a full time mom, and that by itself is it's crazy. It's fun. It's crazy, and there are things that you just can't plan. You just really have to go with the flow. Yeah, there.
And of course, we gotta ask about the baby. So how is she?
I have a baby girl, and she just turned 1 year old, and
One.
she's doing great. She's already learning how to walk. She's already meeting milestones, and she's already sobrang daldal. Yeah, really, really melts your heart and makes everything worth it. Like all of the tired days, all of the sleepless nights, it's all worth it just to be able to see her. So, yeah, we're all doing great.
That's great to hear. And earlier you mentioned the word crazy. So ayan, I'm gonna jump in on that because I'm gonna ask you. So, how was the crazy first year as a first-time parent?
I think we have some parents who are watching and who are joining us, and you'll have to agree with me that the crazy first year, it really allows you to readjust your lens on what it means to have a fulfilling and meaningful life. Before, it would just mean like being able to go out, to be able to travel. But right now, when you have a baby, things kind of priority shift, and you see less of yourself and your own personal needs, and more of a bigger picture of the things that how things would reflect, or what how your child will actually take in whatever you're doing. It's crazy, it's
Mhm.
definitely tiring, but I would say it's extremely fulfilling, and I wouldn't trade these memories and moments for anything else.
Of course. And you said that right, ano, Katrina, kasi yun nga, it's all about adventures, right? And so for the first time parents, or kahit this is not your first time, we want to invite you in this chat because we're gonna dig deep and talk all about that, o, diba? All right. Now, this is a virtual book launch, for first-time parents in this very long adventure, and I'm sure you have a lot of adventures to share, right? So, why don't you tell us about your baby's memorable firsts?
Oh my gosh. So definitely there are a lot of firsts, and her firsts are also my firsts. They're absolutely adorable. They're memorable, and I don't think that after so long the baby won't remember their first time. But as a parent, these are memories that you want to capture. And my phone is full of her photos. I have a journal full of the stuff that she is already doing, and seeing your kid achieve the milestones, they're an affirmation to you as a parent that you're doing all right. It's they always say that um, the days are long but the years are short. It's relatively a slow progress that you get to see your child from a baby that's only just lying down all the way up to now that she's already starting to walk. And a child takes time to learn things, but it's also very fast when you consider that in just a span of a few weeks, in a few months, and now it's just a year, your baby from someone who is just like lying down is now doing so many things. She's babbling, she's talking, she's interacting, she's communicating, and those are so wonderful.
Yeah, sobrang I bet a lot of our parents can relate, especially kanina sinabi mo your phone is full of her photos. Amen. Yeah. So mga moms and dads that agrees with us, can I get an amen up in here? Is your phone full of their photos? Comment down below. Yes. Because speaking of photos, memories, no, photos and memories, we want to ask you, why do you think it's important for parents like you to document each and every milestone?
Personally, I'm a very sentimental person, but um, I think it's for three reasons. First, it's your story as a parent. You want to remember these things because these are the things that you're experiencing. But second, it's also your baby story. It's a unique story that only the two of you will be experiencing together. It also gives them a sense of identity. It gives them their unique moments. They're very intimate moments, and you want to be able to celebrate these moments with your child. And then the third, of course, it's a story for the future. So as I did mention, this is a story of your child, and this is a story that he will carry until he or she gets old. I think you remember, like when we go to parties with friends, and then your uncle would tell you, alam mo nung bata ka, ginawa mo to, ganyan, 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 ganyan. And those are really fun memories, and these are really fun stories that really that really just talks about who you are and how you were as a kid, and you always want to remember that. We also have experiences when parents always have to keep answering their kids like, mommy, how was I born? Mommy, what was I like? And having this written down, having these kind of like immortalized in a book, those are very um special moments wherein you could always go back and you could always reflect on that. I did mention it's a story for the future because it's also a reference for them when they do plan to have their own family. So I have my parents actually had something similar. They would write down things that I was doing when I was a kid. And it was my way of actually comparing notes. I was comparing notes like when my baby was this month, how much did she weigh versus how much did I weigh? And it's because it's genetic. I mean,
Mhm.
I could really compare myself to my baby relatively apples to apples because we're coming from the same gene pool. as compared to me comparing myself to my friends, parang syempre, iba rin naman yung genetics nila. So at least sa akin, medyo, oh, sige, medyo parehas tayo. And it's also a way for you to appreciate your parents. Right now, I know that parents are being told, bawal ang asukal sa bata, bawal ang asin sa bata, bawal ang ganyan. But when you leave your kid to your own parents, they would tell you, nung panahon mo ganito, nung panahon mo ganyan. So, the way we were brought up versus the way we are bringing our children up, they're very different. And it's also nice to be able to appreciate what your parents did for you before. So, I do remember this one very specifically because this is my story na kinakwento ko sa mga tao. So, sinasabi nila, di ba, bawal ang asukal sa mga bata.
Mhm.
But I went through my album, and it's only now that I really appreciated. My parents would always call me the chocolate monster. And
Uh-huh.
I found out that I was eating chocolates when I was already 7 months old.
Oh
At
my
seven
gosh.
months old, I have photos of me with chocolate all over my face. I have photos of me holding a Hershey's bar. So these kind of tell me how different the times are, but it doesn't make it any like I turned out okay. So
You turn out fine.
so it gives you that sense na parang, you know, we can be a little bit more relaxed with ourselves. We can appreciate what our parents did for us. We can appreciate their story. So that's why it's important to be able to have these documented, to have these immortalized, to have these set aside, and always for someone to always go back and remember. I hope I was able to answer your question. Ang haba ng answer pala.
No, it's perfect kasi I agree. Parang I am actually thankful to the titos, the titas who recall some of the growing up years that we've had. Kasi sometimes baka parents got so busy na doing a lot of things, but the titos and the titas, 'di ba? They have the short quips. Alam mo nung lumalaki si Ana, nako, pag makakita ng chocolate, yeah. Ano na yan. So you've had like since childhood pala you've had this relationship with chocolate ever since and
Yes.
sweets. But you turned out fine and now it's parang such a happy childhood memory of you and your chocolates na. What do you think? Do you also want your child to also have a love affair with chocolates as well?
Hopefully na. I could finish a whole pack of chocolates in one sitting. I don't think I want that for her.
Baka iba naman yun sa kanya
Iba
and
naman ang kanyang ano.
iba naman ang kanyang
Oo.
magiging favorite. So since you've talked about this journal nga, now I want to ask you more about this. Kasi what prompted you, to create the Great Adventure Journal? Ano yung mga naging inspiration mo behind this? Where did this idea come from?
Okay, so I did mention that I was referencing to a lot of stories from the past. And when I got pregnant, I wanted something similar for my baby. I had a relatively difficult pregnancy, and I was placed on bed rest. So I had a lot of time in my hands. I couldn't move as much. So that got me thinking, and I was journaling everything that I was going through. And then I realized that I wanted to be able to keep the story going, and I want to be able to have my baby look back and see all of the things that we've gone through for her. So I was looking for baby journals, and I do remember that my parents actually kept something for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking for a baby journal locally. There aren't a lot of options,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones that are in the market weren't resonating with me. I wanted something that is very colorful, that had a lot of prompts. That I was looking for very specific prompts. Very specific. There's a lot of things that I wanted to share and I wanted to say. So the journals didn't seem to be able to get that for me, and so I decided I wanted to create one for my baby, and so I did, and that's how the Great Journal came to be. Ayun.
Agree ako dyan. Parang it's kind of hard to find the right baby book, right? And usually, yung mga galing pa abroad, like kunyari meron kang kamag-anak that went abroad and then ang iuwi nila is this journal, right? So
Yes.
what has your experience been? Parang not there, parang medyo may kulang.
Oo. Actually, most of the options that were given to me, kailangan ko pa bumili from abroad. And for one, the price is different. Second is I don't really um, get to choose kung ano yung paper quality niya or kung ano yung mga designs niya. So, ayun. And I wanted something that is a little bit homegrown, like something that we have here. So, ayun, kaya naisip ko rin na this is also a legacy project, not only to be able to document the stories, but it's also something that I could dedicate to my child.
I
And I
love
wanted parents here to also have that option. Na you don't have to look abroad. You don't have to look through mga through Amazon or through other mga online shops na they have to ship it all the way here, because you have an option here in the Philippines.
I love that. And I agree. Kasi baka yung mga ibang parang baby books, very general, di ba? Mga high-level questions only. Pero wala yung mga talagang mga side kwento. You know, yung parang like, yung mga very, very, very specific questions that you would have wanted to write down. But since ang tanong lang is, how heavy is the baby? So, parang almost there, but not quite. And speaking of which, no, kanina I introduced it as Agukaka. So just to correct how we've been saying it, and we've been seeing it as well. Can you share the story behind the brand name, and what's the story behind this?
I've been getting this question a lot. It's called Agukaka, and
Agukaka. Yeah.
the reason for that is because that is my dad's nickname for me when I was growing up. That was that he would say that's my first word, and I grew up. He would always call me that. He even made me a song, and that's why the logo is a frog, because his song for me would always be Agukaka muka palaka. Pag bungi, ay bungi. Good. So it the brand is actually a tribute to my dad, and recently, and this is a story that I wanted to share. Recently, I lost my dad, and so this was one of the last projects that I was able to share with him, and he was so happy when he saw it. So I really wanted to make sure that I would be able to honor him this way. And I did mention that my parents did have a record for me, and when my dad passed, I went through those records again, and I was so touched because the first notes, the moment that I was born, that page was written by my dad. It was all in his handwriting, and he wrote my name, my birth weight, the length, the his reactions when I was born, and so that gave me that connection with him, and that made me realize, how memorable that experience was for him. And then when I shared it to my mom, he said, "Tatay mo kasi sobrang excited eh. Gusto niya una na siya magsusulat nung pinanganak ka." But when you think about that, that was a story that was very, very touching, and that's very heartwarming, especially for someone who just experienced the loss of a parent. And so this one will transcend through generations. This one will transcend through time, because this is a story that's going to be yours. Again, I
Thank
hope
you.
I was able to answer that
Yeah.
question.
Thank you for sharing that story, Anna. I know it's bittersweet, but a lot of people can definitely relate with you, especially yung very excited parents, and yung dad mo pa talaga yung nauna.
Una pa sa nanay ko magsulat.
And seeing his handwriting, parang it just brings you back to that moment, yung joy niya of having you and writing all those stories. So sobrang goosebumps, and I know it's also a difficult story for you to share at the moment, but thank you for sharing that to our audience today. And I know he's looking down on you, and So proud of you and with this book, no. So thank you so much for that. And speaking of first time parents, ayan, we also have a special segment here wherein we have invited some parents to join us as we answer some questions, as if we are writing it down in the journal. So imagine yourself, guys, that we have the journal in front of us, the great adventure, your first 5 years. So with there you go. So imagine this is in front of us, and we're all answering the questions as one group in a segment that we would like to call Camp Fireside Chat. Ayan. So, fireside chat, but we're all about adventures. And ito nga parang kunyari may log cabin situation tayo at the moment. Para we're all snuggle up and read, answer questions, and then share some stories across the table. So, why don't I introduce the parents that are joining us in this fire camp fireside chat. Ayan. All right, so let me introduce them one by one, starting off with our first parent and someone who's very familiar because he's none other than Jet Durla. So Jet is an IT consultant by profession, but he is also the managing partner and head of sales for Paper Cat Books and HS Graphic Print. He's a dad to a 4-year-old boy, and in mid-October, another baby boy is joining their household. So without further ado, welcome Jet. Kamusta ang buhay, tatay?
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Buhay tatay, okay naman. Ayun, puyat.
Okay, very puyat. Okay, I think
Yeah.
yung sa one answer ni Jet, I think everyone's like, yup.
Since
100
2017.
emoji.
Yes.
So thank you, Jet, for joining us in our fireside chat because we also want to, hear about your experience with Peanut and in how is it so far. So just buckle up. We've got more questions for you later. Now, join me
Okay.
as I introduce our next parent guest, and she is Lori Bly. Lori is a digital marketing professional and a PR director for Digital Hog Online Marketing. She's a mom to a 4-year-old boy, and in mid October, also in 2022, will give birth to a baby girl. So, Lori, welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Thanks for
Lori.
having
And
me.
October din pala ang iyong
Yes.
month to be.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm very excited, but also scared of course, going through the process all over again. Um, I usually have normal delivery, so yeah, it's a very exciting time.
Exciting indeed. And we're also excited to introduce our third parent guest. This time she is Sam. Sam is a marketing executive with extensive background in banking and telco. She's now also a new mom to a 9-month-old Gab. So please welcome Sam. And how is Gab? Baby Gab.
She's good. She's doing so well. Excited to be here.
That's right. Thank you, Sam. And to complete our roster of parents today, we have Dar. Dar has had 17 years in the business with PTJ or Belle de Jour and Viviamo, and a mom of 2 kids. Welcome, Dar, to the virtual book launch.
Hi everyone.
All right. So we've got all our first time parents, second time parents in the room, and we're now ready to have our camp Fireside chat. Ang hirap eh. Nagpauso pa kasi ako eh. Pwede naman kasing fireside chat. Pero nilagyan ko pa ng camp. Because yun nga, we want to cozy up amongst our parents, ask you guys some questions. So how we're gonna do this is we have about 6 questions for all our parents today, and then we're gonna do a round table. One by one, please answer the question as if you were answering the journal. And then, of course, we have Kat here to kind of give us a little bit about the questions that are here, and also, some insights or feedback about these questions in the journal. So, is everyone ready?
Ready?
Yes, you are, and we are jumping right in our first question, because the first question is, ta-da! Please tell us about yourself when your baby was born. Okay, let me take it back to when your baby was born. And then we answer the question starting off with Jet, Daddy Jet.
Sorry, tell us about yourself when your baby was born.
Oo, who was
Parang,
Jet at the time when your baby was born?
I think, ganun pa rin naman din. Hindi, ang hirap naman ito. Wala to sa listahan ng questions. uh, Tell me about myself. I think more or less I've been the same person. Siguro, dati, I mean, syempre pag wala ka pang anak, medyo mas, relax ka lang. You don't really try to think about way too far off in the future. Diba? Wala ka na masyado inintindi. Ikaw lang, tsaka, if you have a wife or sino mang kasama mo sa buhay. Ayun. Typical dude na wala naman masyadong inaasikaso.
Wala masyadong iniisip. So,
chill ko lang.
isusulat mo, Jet, dito sa journal, sakto lang.
Yeah, exactly.
Same guy, na just kidding. But yeah,
Relax
I think
lang.
a lot of the dads can relate na same, a little bit different, but the same. Ganon.
Yan.
How about Lori? So who was Lori when your first baby was born?
I was at the point of my life where, in a way, I did everything that I wanted to do in my bucket list at that age. When I gave birth to my first son, I was already 36 years old. And it took several attempts to get pregnant,
Mhm.
right? So, again, for the question, who was I before the baby was born? I was a very content person. I had good experience in working for corporate, and then I started my own business, and it was doing well. And then I got married, and so it was all I did everything that I wanted to do, but you know that there's something missing, right?
Mhm.
And I really wanted to be a mother, and again, it wasn't easy to be a mother, so that's why it all happened for me very late, when I was already like 36, which is, of course, you hear people say, baka too old na, baka hindi na kaya. So parang when he finally arrived, it was like oh my gosh, he's finally here, right? So that was like a great beginning of a new chapter in my life, in a way.
I love that. So make sure, Lori, you write that down in the journal. Mommy Lori was already had a lot of achievements, but there was something missing, and it was becoming a mom. O, di ba? Parang ako na rin, ako na rin yung nagsusulat ng journal for you guys. Now, let me ask Mommy Sam. So, who was Mommy Sam when baby Gab was born?
Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I think the type of person that I am, when I go into something, I really want to make sure that I'm prepared. So when I was pregnant, months leading to the birth, I did a lot of research, talked to a lot of friends, read up a lot of books. But then once the baby's there, it's like no amount of preparation will really make you ready. So when she was born, I think it was like a roller coaster of emotions for me. First and foremost, it was relief. And of course, I was so happy that, she had finally arrived. But also, there was somewhat of parang fear because, when you're in the hospital, they don't give you a manual. You're really like on your own, you and your husband. But yeah, looking back, I think having her there made me better. I had better control of my emotions. I tried to be, more present for her. And uh, to what Kat or Anna said earlier, no matter how tired I was, no matter how stressed I was, just to see her there and to finally be able to hold her, it's all worth it. And it's a lot of joy that you feel. Ayun.
Thank you for that, Sam. And now let me go to Mommy Dar. So, who was Mommy Dar before the two kids were born?
So, for me naman, actually, I didn't plan to have kids. I didn't really want to have kids. I wasn't the type who wanted to parang get married and have kids. So, parang my story is really more like I was really like this independent businesswoman. I have a business. I have my own success. And then parang when I got married, it was like a very fast relationship. Like in a 13-month time, we decided, okay, we're getting married. Um, I I was told that I can't have children. Not can't have children. Will have difficulty in having children because I have just one ovary. Tapos bigla, ayun, 3 months in the marriage, I'm pregnant. Tapos so
Oh
parang
my
it was
gosh.
funny. And nandyan siya. So that's my daughter. That's my eldest. So essentially, it was a surprise, obviously. But parang it felt like it was right. Parang it was really a gift. Yung what we say, when we talk about it, it's really siguro parang we loved each other so much as a couple that God felt like we needed to have a kid. So after the first one, the second one parang medyo deliberate siya kasi we didn't want her to be an only child. So it was a deliberate choice to grow the family. So before, after, definitely changed me as a person because of parang before syempre, mag-change ka talaga eh. Parang what they say, diba, after you give birth, you actually, in a way, I'm sorry, medyo, it might sound negative, but you die. Then you are reborn again as a mom. So it's like parang becoming a whole new person, but it needs to encompass both your single self or your non-mom self and then the mom self. So I think part of the journey of being the mom is putting these two seemingly different pieces together.
Wow, Mommy Dar. You have to write that down in the journal. Ah. Grabe, yung roller coaster ride that you've been through. Pwedeng pang ano. Hindi lang yata one page. I think you need a lot of pages. So, Kat, can you give more pages to the Mommy Dar, please? All right. So, okay, we're jumping now. So, lots of great questions and answers here, but I'm jumping now to the second question. And the second question is, can you share your reaction when your kids were born? I think some of you were able to touch on this. Some of you were surprised, not ready, but if you were to answer this journal question, right? If you were to give me like one answer question, what would it be? Why don't we start with Sam? If it were
Trying to
one line or an
More of
emoji,
like the first time you held your baby, or the
oh
first
yeah.
time that the baby was born, and then nakita mo na siya.
Mm.
What was your reaction?
My reaction was, this is so surreal. I think so I gave birth via CS. So feeling ko when I was there, parang I was just floating, you know? And I think the night before, I couldn't really sleep from, I don't know, excitement or nerves. So when I was there and when I finally held her, yun lang, parang surreal. Like, is this really happening? Is she really here? Am I really holding her? Parang ganon.
That I mean, a lot of parents can relate. Surreal, like out of body
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
How about you, Lori? Your reaction when you finally held your baby?
First reaction was I was crying so hard because ang sakit. I mean, pushing
Of
the
course,
baby out was so painful.
keeping it real. Ayan.
Masakit. And then, by the time na medyo ano na ako ng emotions and I held him, parang I was in awe. You know, it's like just looking at him, like he's here. I'm holding him finally. So yeah, that was my reaction.
I like that, Lori. Please write that in the journal. Painful. Because it's real, no ba?
Exclamation points.
I want to, don't we want to remember the pain that our mom went through? Sometimes medyo na-skip na yung part na yun eh. But yeah, let's put that back. How about you, Dar? Your
For me
reaction.
naman, my ano is really like that life is a gift. Kasi parang, I guess, parang may fear ako with giving birth. Parang I didn't mind
Mm-mm.
being pregnant. But I was scared of dying on the table. Parang yung ganon.
Wow.
CS din ako, same with Sam. So parang, kasi I had, di ba I have one ovary. So may high risk ako for bleeding.
Mhm.
Because parang I have a myoma. I had surgery already before in the uterus. So that's why they were saying, challenging na for me to give birth. So parang that's why it was parang not intentional or not planned. But when yun, parang essentially that lesson that life is a gift, that I am alive. My daughter, my baby was alive. And parang yun, it's everything is just life is a gift.
That's amazing. Tignan naman natin ang father's perspective this time with Jet. So, as a first-time dad, what was your reaction when finally Peanut was born?
Okay, well, yeah, syempre, I was happy, ecstatic, yan. When he, nung paglabas niya. Pero a little bit worried din kasi nga at that time, how should I say, nung before kasi siya lumabas, nag-ano kasi siya, nag-poop na siya doon sa loob. So kaya kailangan siya ilabas agad.
Right.
So, yun. Paglabas niya, okay naman. After ng picture-picture, sa behind the scenes, the doctors were working to check on him. They have to pump his stomach to check kasi nga, di ba? Baka may mga ano siya, infections and things like that. But, all in all, ano naman, we're happy naman. And it turned out fine, I guess.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. First time dad, Jet, and now will be a second time dad in October. So thank you for balancing it out then kasi we also want to know yung father's perspective as kasama ka ba dun sa giving birth process?
Giving birth. Hindi. Nung ano lang, nung lalabas lang siya, saka lang pinapapasok usually. Kasi there are stories daw kasi na kapag nandun daw yung husband all throughout, minsan sila daw yung hinihimatay eh. For some reason na. So siguro to prevent that from happening.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we asked you guys some questions about who you were at the time of the birth, your first reaction. So now let me take you forward a little bit and ask you guys your most memorable experience as a parent to date. I know ang dami. 'Di ba, Kat? Like, ang daming mga memorable experiences. But what are some of the things that you want to ask the parents, ito na, nung growing up years na ng kanilang mga child? So we're gonna ask them, what was the most memorable experience for you as a parent with your child to date? So look back, think back. So if you were
Kind of
to,
difficult to choose because every month in your baby's first year, there's a lot of milestones that they're going to go through. And then afterwards, when they become a toddler, they start having more experiences. So to select one is kind of difficult, but I'm pretty sure everyone has one distinct moment which kind of like says, you know, this is what parenting is. I am a parent, and this is like the most memorable thing ever.
I can
So,
start na lang.
here to help, I'll share mine na lang muna, and then others could also follow, so that you could also think about what you'd like to share. But my most memorable experience as a mom is I'm breastfeeding kasi, and so um, it's kind of new for a lot of parents na hindi nila yung mga parents natin hindi nila alam na what it's like to be breastfeeding, and so the connection of you being with your kid is kind of different. Na parang sobrang clingy yung anak mo sa'yo. Um, and it really melted me when my baby was being carried by several relatives, and then suddenly she looked at me and said, "Mama," and then arms stretched out. Ako lang yung gusto niya just to make her feel like, secure. Kasi syempre when you're getting the baby, moving them to different relatives, syempre parang natatakot siya. And then, ikaw yung hinanap. And for me, that was like super memorable. So, that's
I can
my
go na.
experience. Maybe Dar has one to share.
Yeah. So, get started. I also, yung sa akin, memorable times kasi parang having to juggle with work. I was like a working mom with my own business. I didn't have the luxury of the 30 days, 90 days na kahit sabihin na, oh, pwede naman kasi you own the business. But parang I'm needed also there. So I had to balance it. I was also breastfeeding. But one of the things that the best decision for us was actually going through sleep training. So I had a coach to go through it, and then very interesting kasi yung first time that it was introduced to me by my husband. Parang sobra akong repulsed by the idea kasi culturally yung Philippine Asian parang we sleep with our parents until we're, I don't know, high school, college, diba? Until we move out. Parang ganon, you sleep in the same room para makatipid ng aircon. But ayun, parang somehow when I talked to the coach, I felt like parang this is what we need for the health and wellness of the whole family. And sobrang iba yung feeling when I have CCTV camera in the room, in the bed, in the house, and just seeing your child at parang a few months old, just waking up, feeling so secure with their space, with their crib, not crying, and just playing. Parang cooing, playing with whatever, parang may bottle. Kasi wala naman masyadong stuff sa bed because they might hurt themselves, diba? So parang for me, that was such a memorable moment when they became two and we put them in the room together kasi yung start nakahiwalay na kwarto. Kasi para matrain nga. Tapos yung kinambay namin, sobrang cute sila tingnan pag nagising sila and they just talk to each other. And syempre yung baby bata sila, parang walang sense, diba? Kasi wala pa silang masyadong words. But parang they would just call Shobe, Achi, parang, tapos, well, the baby's not talking like, ooh, parang nagkukulang or something. But I felt that was like amazing just being able to see those moments na they're able to find that. So yes, it's for
yeah,
me.
thank you for that. Was your aha moment when both of your kids parang started sharing a room. That was like, yes. That was a
Sobrang,
moment right
sobrang
there.
iba. Like have recordings of it na naka-CCTV na nag-uusap sila na tumatawa. Pero walang sense. Like, yung parang batang usap talaga.
I think Lori and Jet should be taking notes because they're both expecting this October. So we'll look forward to your journal entry for that. How about you, Sam? Was there like an aha moment for you?
Uh, Before I share, though, I just want to say, Dar, I might ask you about sleep training because it's something that I've been thinking about doing as well. But ayun, going back, most memorable for me, it's hard to choose just one really, but I think for me, I see she's the happiest when she's swimming. This is so funny, but the first time she went swimming, she must have been 4 or 5 months old. And normally, when she's in a new situation, she's so clingy. She gets really fussy at times too. But when she's in the water, she's the happiest baby in the world. She can be with strangers, but in a pool, she doesn't care. She's so happy. And then, pag iahon na, ayaw niya. Basta she loves the water. So, just seeing her enjoy and explore, she's not afraid to like splash through the water. Yun, just seeing her that happy for me is so parang nakakaano it melts my heart. So yeah, swimming I think is the number one activity for her.
Nako, Sam, I'm so excited for Baby Gab to read that journal entry na parang since baby pala siya, mahilig na siya sa water, so we will not be surprised if she ends up like a diver or
I think
swimmer.
there's a big chance really
There's a
because she
very big
loves the
chance.
water so much. So yeah, definitely gonna look into swimming lessons too maybe next year.
That's great. So now let me take it to Lori this time. So what would be your entry here?
I guess the discovery of observing my son, and he's a storyteller. I mean, he's just 4 years old, but he could spend hours playing with whatever toy. Like example would be dinosaurs, or and then he would just spend hours just playing with dinosaurs, creating stories, and that was very surprising for me because um, I'm kind of used to seeing other children who has short attention span, right? So for him to take a long time with his toys and um, even if hi baby na-distract ako sa baby hello so when I he's the kind of baby that actually treasures his toys. So we've had his toys from a couple of years, and then when he wants to play with it, he's very specific. Where's this toy that? Mommy, where's this toy? Wario, Wario. This is because he loves Mario, and he's very specific. So we can't really throw anything away because he remembers like all these little toys, mga figurines that are very for me I can easily like you have too many toys, I want to like clean up, right, or I want to store some of it away, which I can't because he keeps looking for it, right? So it in a way it's memorable for me because it gives me a peek into his character, his personality that is developing, right? So yeah, so that's the most memorable thing for me when I see him play on his own and create stories in his head.
Love that. Now, Jet, any memorable story that you want to share?
Yes, hello. Actually, yeah, same, madami rin stories. Actually, for me, no, yung mga first year of life, uh, well, everything is a blur kasi mostly you're sleep deprived. So hindi mo siya masyadong maalala yung iba. Except siguro yung mga milestones that uh, that your baby has that they should be having actually. Pero ang isa kong naalala, yung yun yung time na parang I was expecting si Peanut to ano na dapat magwo-walk na siya, parang gano'n. Sabi ko parang based kasi dito sa nakasulat sa libro, parang hindi pa siya nag-walk, dapat nag-walk na siya. But yun nga, I'm trying not to stress it na dapat naglalakad na siya by, I don't know, hindi naman yata 9 months. Mga 1 year, ganyan. Pero I think, yeah, I mean, unti-unti, nakikita ko, he was trying to walk, yeah, he was trying to stand on his own, kumakapit siya sa mga pader. Tapos, actually may one time, when he was practicing on his walking, parang kaming dalawa lang ata sa kwarto nun. Tapos bigla siyang umutot. Tapos tumingin siya sa akin, tapos tumawa siya, tapos kami, tapos nagtawa na kami. So I think yung mga ganong, yun yung mga bagay na naalala ko for some reason. I don't know why.
Ang cute naman, Jet. It's the simple things for the dad.
Yeah.
Yun naman ang kanilang mga most memorable things. So,
Yes.
thank you for sharing that, Dad, and also giving us like a perspective naman for the father. It's the small things that really counts for them. So, wow. Once again, thank you, parents, for joining us in this mini workshop, mini answering the journal entry portion. We learned so much from you, your experiences, and we even want to copy some notes. So, Sam, go ahead. Why don't you ask Dar about sleeping coach, and to all the dads that can relate with Jet about the simple things and being shocked, seeing the first time parents. So we'd love for you to have more memories like this, and to make sure that we capture these memories in our journal and continue to share that to the family. So once again, thank you, Jet, Lori, Sam, and Dar for joining us. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, that was awesome, Katrina. What do you think about that?
Oh, it's so nice, and everyone has their own stories about their little ones, and it's very heartwarming. You see the perspective from the mom. You hear the stories from the dads, and yeah, those are very very touching and very fun, very wonderful things to look back to.
I'm excited for the parents to answer this and to read it back um, to their kids one day. But yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for parang encouraging us to really capture those memories. But and just like that, that was like an hour of chit chat with you and with our parents. But of course, we want to ask more questions when it comes to the book itself. So here we go. Kat, can you tell us more about this book? Where can people find this? Any announcement that you want to make to our audience today?
All right, so I want to share with you. So this is the Great Adventure. This is how big it is. So it's relatively easy to write on, in the sense na parang ganyan siya. Ito. May flip through ako. And here, some of the questions that were asked from sa guests natin, you'll be able to find it here. And you could put it in your bag so that anytime you could write on it. It's a perfect gift for expecting parents, but also if you're a tita and you want to give it to like your pamangkin, or if you're giving it to your friend for a baby shower, this is like the perfect gift. And it's proudly made in the Philippines. So I just wanted to share this page so that you could appreciate the fact that pang Pilipinas siya. Go out. This is the first trip out of the country. So it goes to show you mga different firsts mo as a kid, but the Philippine map is there. So it's locally made. It's the designs are done by local artists. It's printed. It's produced here. Published by. It's published here with Paper Cat Books, and You'd be able to get this in, you could message me in Facebook through the Agukaka journals. You could also buy this in Shopee and also in the Paper Cats Lazada page. And for the Facebook and for the Shopee, if you buy it from those channels, I'd be able to provide you with a 2,000 pesos voucher from Benjamin Studios. So that's 2,000 pesos. Wait, nandito yung ano ko. That's 2,000 pesos off on newborn photography. So it also adds to that being able to capture moments. So yan siya, 2,000 pesos off. So we'll include that. I'm sorry, I'll put it back. We'll include that when you get your copy from Shopee and also from our Facebook page. And for today, all the way up to the end of the month, if you message me in Facebook, I could give it to you at a special price of 999. So this is only up to the end of September. And yun, so it's a special launch price. Also because it's grandparents' day or grandparents' month, and I wanted to also, as I mentioned, this is the story for of my dad, and it's his birth month then. So I wanted to be able to honor him this way. So this is a special price only for this month, 999 siya up to the end of September. All right. I hope I was able to answer that. Were there any other things that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, so just to reiterate yung special announcement ni Kat, for this month only, you guys, just 999 promo price for this book. Can we see it again, Kat?
Here. This is The Great Adventure. So if you open it, there is this book is for. And I wanted to share siguro some of the pages that we were able to cover kanina. So this is the page that talks about your parents. So who were your parents when you were born? So how old your parents are, what their works are, what do they love to do, what are they good at? Because you want to appreciate who your parents are. Like when your dad says, I used to be a cool guy, or I was 35 when I had you. So yung mga ganon. And then, as I mentioned, when they talked about yung mga reactions, this is the page when you're born. So when we welcome our little trooper, what time were they born? Your daddy's reaction, your mommy's reaction. You could have photos that you could put here, memorable moments that like what Sam and Lori and Dar and also Jet shared. So you could write some special moments here, and all of the other details in this book. And ayun. And then we also have a month on month page wherein you could write the monthly milestones, your memorable moments, and also your messages for your kid. I'm sure that sometimes parents would always write on their phone and have some ideas na parang, I want to tell you something about this, I want to tell you about that. So there will be pages here where you could write those down.
Yeah, I love it. And thank you for sharing that. Nakaka-excite. Even the design, the layout, parang nakaka-excite to answer it kasi it's like taking us through an adventure and yung journey, and the colors are really unique. No, it's not the usual mga pastel colors. It's very mild nature, so very unique.
I think when
And when
we made this, we wanted to have something that's unisex. So it's good for a girl, it's good for a boy. And regardless, whatever the gender of your child will be, it will always be a great adventure.
there you go. That's it right there. So once again, special promo price just this month, and grab that book. So mga titos, titas, ninongs, ninangs that are thinking about a gift for their inaanak or for their friends, expecting friends, this should be on top of your list right here. All right. So, Kat, any other last few words before we wrap up our virtual book launch today?
So I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to join us in our virtual book launch of The Great Adventure. Always remember to keep creating memories, keep enjoying the moments, and celebrate life.
Celebrate life indeed. So, once again, thank you for joining us today and congratulations on your journey launch. Thank you also to all the parents that attended our online workshop slash answering the journal. And we learned so much from you today. So, to everyone who's watching live or on team replay, I hope you enjoyed our little adventure this afternoon. Again, we hope to see you again in our next virtual book launch and other paper cut books online. And with that, thank you everyone and have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.